Today, we're plunging into something, well, surprisingly potent, I think. It's often overlooked. We're talking about the transformative power of just a single, well-chosen quote. We're going to explore how, a concise piece of wisdom can actually fundamentally alter your perspective and maybe even drive significant change in your life. Our mission for this deep dive is really to dissect not just what makes certain quotes so impactful, but how you can truly allow one to reshape your mindset and your actions. And we've gathered some really fascinating insights on this.
It is an intriguing subject, isn't it? Just the idea that a few carefully arranged words, seemingly so small, can hold such immense power. It's far more than just surface-level inspiration. There seems to be a profound cognitive mechanism at play, something that enables these, succinct statements to genuinely take root within us and trigger these deeper shifts.
Right, let's unpack that. There's this powerful metaphor from the material we looked at. The idea that a profound quote can act like a seed in your mind. What does that actually mean? For an abstract thought to behave like a seed, slowly germinating and transforming us, maybe even beneath our conscious awareness. Think about this example. Your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and it's not just a comforting sentiment, is it? Something to scribble on a sticky note. As our research emphasizes, it's really a declaration that, it demands action. It's not passive wisdom, it's a potent call to personal agency. It urges you to step into the driver's seat.
Precisely. And that seed metaphor, I think it brilliantly captures a crucial psychological truth. These insights don't instantly bloom into radical transformation. You won't read it once and, wake up a completely different person tomorrow. Instead, its subtle, persistent presence can initiate a process of cognitive restructuring. Through repeated reflection, through engagement, it gradually begins to reshape your neural pathways, subtly altering your thoughts, then maybe your habits, and eventually over time, your entire life.
Cognitive restructuring. Yeah, that makes sense.
And when we dissect a quote like that one, your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change. Its impact, I think, stems from its conciseness. And also that direct correlation it makes between improvement and proactive effort. It's very clear. It serves as a powerful prompt for shifting your locus of control, from external circumstances to your internal actions. It really cuts through that common human tendency to just wait for luck or fate. It firmly places the power for betterment squarely on your shoulders. And this is often where that aha moment can truly ignite for someone. Simple words, but they crystallize a fundamental truth in an undeniable way. Sparks a real internal shift.
That concept of cognitive restructuring, literally reshaping our thought patterns, that makes so much sense. But it raises an intriguing question from our material. If these ideas are so potent, why do so many of us still kind of underestimate the power of daily inspiration? It seems like such a straightforward practice, low effort even, but it's frequently overlooked or maybe even dismissed. Why do you think that is?
That's an excellent question. And what we found in the readings offers a pretty compelling analogy. It says, just like brushing your teeth, feeding your mind daily with something powerful keeps your spirit fresh. The core insight here is really consistency, and maybe it touches upon our brain's inherent biases. We're often wired to seek, novelty, aren't we? And grand, immediate transformations. We crave the big bang change, so the idea of tiny, consistent inputs, it feels less exciting, perhaps, less urgent.
Right, not as dramatic.
Exactly. But much like building any meaningful habit, the real power lies in the compound interest of these small, consistent efforts. You wouldn't expect physical hygiene to last a week from one brushing, right? Similarly, our mental and emotional well-being, it seems to demand regular nourishment. So when we consistently expose ourselves to powerful distilled truths, even if it's just one quote a day, we're kind of engaging in a form of mental hygiene, actively shaping our internal landscape, reinforcing positive mindsets, and, gently nudging our perspective towards continuous growth. It helps prevent stagnation and cultivates resilience, not through fleeting inspiration, but through that sustained, gentle reinforcement.
That analogy, like brushing your teeth, I like that. It reframes inspiration beautifully, moving it from maybe a luxury to an essential daily practice. Okay, so if we accept this powerful potential, how do we bridge that gap? The gap between merely reading these impactful statements and actually living them. What are the actionable steps, the intentional practices that can transform a quote from just an interesting observation into, an internalized guiding principle?
Right, this is where the theoretical meets the practical, isn't it?
Yeah.
Our research outlines 3 really crucial steps for genuinely internalizing a quote. Making it part of your behavioral framework, not just a fleeting thought.
Okay, what are they?
First, when a quote resonates deeply, when it really hits you, The advice is to literally pause when something hits you hard. This isn't just passive consumption. It's about creating a deliberate space for the words to echo and resonate within you. Don't just skim past it, stop, let its meaning permeate. That initial pause is vital. It's the gateway for deeper cognitive processing. It's the first step from reading to truly experiencing the quote.
Okay, so pause. Got it. What's next? Second, reflect. After you've allowed that initial resonance, you need to actively engage in metacognition, basically thinking about your thinking. What does this quote mean to you specifically? How does it connect to your current challenges, your aspirations, a particular situation you're navigating right now? This isn't about simple agreement. It's about actively contemplating, maybe even dissecting the idea until you genuinely grasp its implications for your own unique life context. Maybe it clarifies a decision you've been wrestling with or offers a new lens on a long-standing problem.
Right, so really personalize it. Make it relevant to my life. Exactly. And finally, and this is arguably the most critical step, ask, where can I apply this in my life today? This is the bridge from abstract wisdom to concrete action. It forces you to connect the profound insight of the quote to an immediate, tangible application, like right now. For instance, if the quote is about the power of small steps, maybe you identify one tiny action you could take on a daunting project just today. Or if it's about patience, you consciously try to apply it to a frustrating interaction you anticipate having. These three steps together, pause, reflect, apply, they transform passive reading into active behavioral change, moving the quote from just external information to an integrated guiding principle that actually informs your decisions and actions.
That emphasis on immediate practical application today, that seems critical. Our sources also highlight how often people, fail to move from insight to action, even with really powerful quotes. Which leads me to something fascinating we encountered. These stories of individuals whose lives were just radically altered by a single quote. It makes me wonder, what's the true common denominator in these profound transformations? Is there some, mystical power inherent in the specific words themselves, or is it something else entirely? Because, if it were simply the quote, wouldn't everyone who reads it experience the same radical shift?
That's the absolute core insight we were guided to in the material. It reveals it pretty clearly. It says, you'll realize it's not the quote, how deeply you let it settle in. This is a profoundly important distinction, isn't it? It shifts the focus from the external source, the words, to the internal process. Your process. The quote itself is merely a catalyst. A spark, maybe. Or as we discussed, that seed. The true work, the actual sustained transformation, that arises from the listeners, from your active engagement and profound internalization of that idea.
So the quote is just the starting point.
Yeah, exactly. Consider it this way. The quote holds the potential, but you are the fertile ground. You provide the consistent nourishment. You're the dedicated cultivator. Your willingness to pause, to reflect deeply, and crucially, to apply that wisdom to your lived experience. That's what determines if the seed sprouts into something truly life-changing, or if it just remains an unplanted thought, something you read once. It really underscores that true knowledge acquisition isn't just about accumulating information, right? It's about integrating it into your mental framework and allowing it to fundamentally reshape how you approach life. The transformative power lies not in the words themselves, but in your intentional interaction with those words.
So what does this all really mean for us? As we navigate this constant flow of information and, seek personal growth, this deep dive, I think it's shown us the profound seed-like power embedded within these concise statements. And it's highlighted the often underestimated value of making daily inspiration a consistent practice, like brushing your teeth. And now we have those actionable steps. Pause, reflect, apply. To move beyond just passive reading to truly living these insights, turning abstract wisdom into tangible change. It really powerfully reinforces the idea that genuine personal change, the kind that fundamentally shifts your trajectory, it initiates with internal shifts. And those shifts are frequently sparked by simple yet incredibly profound insights, like a single perfectly placed quote that lands precisely when you need it most. Understanding how to engage with information like this, not just consuming it, but allowing it to settle in, reshape your internal landscape, and finally transform you, that seems like an incredibly potent tool for continuous personal growth.
Absolutely. And if we connect this to the broader picture of self-development, it really encourages us to be active, deliberate participants in our own intellectual and emotional evolution. So maybe if you move forward from this deep dive, just take a moment to consider what words or ideas might serve as a guiding seed for you right now, in this moment of your life. What statements have resonated with you in the past, perhaps without you fully grasping their potential then? Or what new insights might you actively seek out now?
That's a great takeaway.
Perhaps even as our deeper exploration suggests, you might intentionally choose one quote this week, one that particularly challenges or inspires your thinking, and carry it with you. Not just remember the words, but to consistently give it the space to settle in, to reflect deeply on its nuanced meaning for your unique circumstances, and, crucially, to discover how you might apply its wisdom to your life, well, today. That kind of intentional, active engagement, that's truly where the deepest transformations begin. You start forming your own personalized library of guiding principles.